How are you, everyone? ठीक है आप? हदीस के? आप ठीक हैं? You're okay? आप ठीक हैं? ठीक है. Okay. We have very distinguished new student with us. Turn back and see over there. He is the youngest NMR student in the world. Yeah, today I think she came to appear in the exam without any preparation. She'll perform quite well, actually. Okay, they just want to have an assessment. There is no marks, nothing like this. It's just to get some idea of what are the areas in which we need to discuss. Yes. Okay, so having said that, we have been discussing two-dimensional spectroscopy, and if I wish to remind you politely that this was developed in 1970s, and it was based on a fundamental need of interpretation. The entire development of NMR spectroscopy was to improve sensitivity, but then people realize that when you have complex large molecules, then it becomes very difficult to use just one dimension. Because of overlapping, it becomes impossible that you can interpret the results. And at that point of time, people start working on interpretation, how to interpret. And the simplest idea was probably came from a simple analogy that if you look into the mountains from the ground, and these are mountains representing different protons, and then you see so many of them, and then you realize that you can't see them properly because they're overlapping. You don't even know how many of them exist. You may see a peak here and there, but you don't actually know how many of them exist. People who are from Gilgit, they know exactly what I mean. But if you just fly over, then you can see everything. But then your view is different. Your view is more of a contour. You don't see mountains like this, or you see mountains like a contour. So this is what you see in two-dimensional. You see contours, and in your visual term, when you see them, the height is just a perception. But on the paper, you just need to represent height. So more color circles means higher. You will see that. More color circles mean higher and higher. Less color circles mean less. So you get this two dimension, and then what actually happens is that there are two dimensions. One is that they exist at a particular position, which is chemical shift. And the second dimension is that you can see them on the other chemical shift because they're blown over. So this was Gina's idea, and then in order to implement that, a new evolution time was introduced, which is called T1, small T1. And T1 primarily means that in every experiment you increase the delay time in between, and when you give them a time, they talk to each other. And I gave you the example that if I allow you to come with a 19% transfer distribution vector, and then turn on the detector from that over, and allow you to stay 0 time, and you don't know each other, your spins, you would have no information about each other. The second experiment, I'll let you stay for a while and you exchange some information. Then I detect you, then you would have a different information. I think you are encoded. There is a word called NMR spectroscopy, it's called encoded. Adil with someone from Yemen knows nothing, and then when he talks to him, and when I detect Adil in terms of this information content, he's encoded by the information from there, you know, and vice versa. So we have our exchange of information. So, and I told you that during this T1 time, this so many exchange of information takes place, which eventually lead to hundreds of experiments. You detect them, and every time you detect, you collect data, FID. The FID is going to be different, actually, because of T1. And then you create a pseudo FID, and that pseudo FID is converted again into a frequency domain. So you would have two frequencies, one on T2, which is called F2, and the other is T1, which is called F1. So you get two-dimensional NMR spectrum. And then I gave you this fascinating example of inadequate, incredible natural abundance double quantum transfer experiment. There was an excellent example in which you are able to see the connectivity between carbon-carbon. Chances of having two carbon 13s together is 1 in 10,000. So it's a very, very weak NMR spectroscopy. And in order to separate this big C13 of alone, which is not next to a C13, you create this very tricky, very interesting experiment. So there are so many of these experiments, and all these experiments are just designed to get information, interpretation. And that interpretation, your capacity to understand where the vectors are, you have this capacity. NMR spectroscopists know exactly where the vector would be in rotating frame of reference. You also have the capacity to rotate them wherever you want to, right? By giving the right path. You also have a capacity to bring them on transfer plane, XY plane, wait and see what is happening. And that you also have a capacity to let proton talk to proton, let proton carbon to talk to carbon, let carbon talk to carbon, like in this. Let carbon proton talk to distinct carbon proton. It's like two students, knows them, they have no information about each other. And then you say, okay, Adil, I know this person now, he's from Egypt as well. So you get information from. And then you say, okay, I want to meet someone from Europe. And it's quite different, So that is a different experiment. And then so experiments are designed in a way that you can extract information about various kinds of interactions. Spins are allowed to talk to each other. And as a result of it, you get information of different types. And I showed you a table that homonuclear, heteronuclear, different types. Now I want to take you to a very important spectroscopic technique, which is the most common one. This is what you use going to qualify. Correlated spectroscopy. So COSY is an abbreviation of Co, S of this, and Y of this. Okay. Correlated spectroscopy. This was the simplest, the first two-dimensional NMR experiment developed. The first. Actually, Gina's experiment was about proton-proton correlation. And it's a very, very simple experiment. And this simple experiment is to collect information about the couplings. So it is homonuclear, but it can be also heteronuclear. Heteronuclear COSY, I was using heteronuclear COSY before the advent of inverse NMR. Okay. So it's a prehistoric time. during the dinosaurs were roaming around. So in prehistoric time, we used to have heterocozy. Hetero means cozy, proton carbon correlates. And then you believe that I was from the era of dinosaur? You look very confident. No, a little after that, she said. So this is a correlation experiment. It uses a sequence of radio frequency pulses to detect scalar coupling. So we designed the experiment in a way that protons, which are coupled to protons directly, J coupling, or through some other couplings, but not through space coupling. It's not that. J coupling, scalar coupling are detected. Okay. And this spectrum has two interesting features. One is called diagonal peak, which represent proton NMR spectrum one dimensional. The other called cross peak, represent two protons J coupled. Cozy spectrum determine the connectivity of a molecule, network, spin systems, fragment systems, very, very important correlation. And it's a very simple NMR spectrum in terms of vector diagram. We have proton, again, all the protons, net magnetization vector, and not longitudinal magnetization vector. And then we give 90 experts, you bring them to X-ray plane, no interference of carbon 13, nothing like this. You're not interested. You're just only interested proton. You give T1 time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, incremented evolution time. You let them talk to each other. Okay, two students talking to each other, encoded with information, appear as diagonal. And if these two students are talking to themselves without each hearing it, appear as diagonal peak. Cross peaks when someone talk together. Talking to yourself is just 1D NMR. Okay. Hi. He seems to be puzzled. What is the difference? What is the difference? Okay, let's assume that we are scalarly coupled. We are actually. We have such a structure, right? So we are two protons, Vacinal or Chapman. You don't know Vacinal or Chapman? You know? You don't know? Okay, so I can tell you. Proton on the same carbon are called geminally coupled. Okay. Proton on vessel on two adjacent carbon or vessel. Okay. So proton on two carbons coupled to each other are vessel. Protons on one carbon, again proton, don't confuse yourself, right? Protons are proton on the same carbon are geminally coupled. Because these protons, I and he, are with 90x pulse are on this X-ray plane, roaming around. T1 time, I am singing a song in Urdu, right? He's singing a song in Arabic, and I'm just singing that song very quietly. He doesn't listen to me. He doesn't know what I'm doing it. And T1 time, we don't listen to each other. Zero, right? So we have one signal. I am a signal, he is a signal, right? Diagnosis. Then in next T1 time, when there is a small delay, but there is a small more time, I see God. I mean, this man is actually singing something. I try to hear it. Okay. And then I say, honey, let's mix Arabic and Urdu songs together. Change this melody with each other. And this melody now will appear as a crossbeat off diagonal because we are encoded with information. This is called cross polarization. So eventually something like this appeared. Yes, Sumera seems to be very impatient and so what you want me to do? मैं भी थोड़ा सा आप डॉक्टर सैयारा की सारी बातें नोट कर लें pretend करें कि आप मैं हूँ ठीक है and then I'm coming back. I had to actually attend a meeting in. Okay, so this is diagonal peak. You know diagonal. Diagonal means from one current to the other diagonal peak. And that diagonal peak is just a simple proton NMR spectrum in which there is no information, no talking, no information took place. So these are peaks from above. It's exactly the same as you get the NMR spectrum and look from up. These cross peaks, this is called cross peaks, are the results of encoding and information exchange. When I and Hani decided to sing together in Arabic and Urdu and have a mix of it, क्या कहते हैं इसे? Mashup, yeah, thank you. Right. Okay, so we have a mashup. You know about it? No. So. Okay, please come. No? Okay, so these cross peaks represent the exchange of information and that we are coupled to each other. Okay, we are scalarly coupled. Okay, so this is the kind of information. You can see this very quickly. This is the molecule. So, you know, this methyl, which is this H1, CH2 is connected to CH3. Their peaks are here, but this off diagonal peak. Don't be confused from two sides. These are mirror images to each other. Okay, so just forget this side right now. So you see that these two protons, and you know why this CH2 appear as two protons? Yeah, they are because they are distereotopic. Here there is a chiral center. When there is a chiral center, they will appear differently. So is 2CH are coupled with CH3. Okay, so this CH3 and this CH on diagonal peak, as we have no transfer of information when T1 is 0. T1 is 0, the simple proton NMR. When there is a T1, increasing information and that is encode. They move. They doesn't move in terms of the chemistry, they just get information from each other and then is it. So diagonal peak is when there is information exchange. You can also see the coupling between this and this, right? This is represented by blue because this is not really a Bessel or a general coupling. It is a long-range scalar coupling. So that's what you get in Posey NMR spectrum, and you will get lots of these spectrum integrate. So this is the simplest example in which initially in proton NMR spectrum you were checking the coupling by coupling constants. But if you have a complex molecule, how would you do that? This is the simplest example, but If you have like 100 different protons, you would have lots of these diagonal peaks, and then you will be able to connect them. In one-dimensional NMR, you cannot do that. It's absolutely impossible that you can even recognize the peaks. Okay, so this is what you get. You're not going anywhere, right? I will be coming back, inshallah, and then I'll discuss with you. Of course, we'll discuss this again. But also I'll discuss with you my favorite toxic.
प्रिंटर के पेजेस मुझे लिंक करो बच्ची के साथ जाके प्रिंटर के पेजेस लिंक करा मैं लिया था मैडम आपने मुझे भेजा वही लेके जी 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 ये है ना ये खोल chat box. Okay, so those 7 students who have not received the paper, Pasi is going to print that. I'll show you the exam paper here, so you can start writing the answer of first question. Just write answer number 1 and start writing because time is short. मेरी बात पेजेस होंगे प्रिंटर का बाहर से ठीक कराने पड़ेंगे बाहर वो मेरे स्टूडेंट्स खड़े ना उनको पता है Okay, so those 8 or 9 students who has not received the paper, these are first 3 questions. So Dr. Sharmeen is bringing empty pages for you so you can start writing your answers. This is the exam paper. I'll give you a blank sheet. You can start writing the answers. Okay, just wait for a few minutes. No discussions, please. Class will be continued after the exam. Please no discussion. Students are still in their exam. Start. Start. Up, start.
Hey. I don't know whether you have walked out, decided not to be part of it. It doesn't agree on 27 Constitution. Anyway, so let's move forward. And Ilma, I need to have your attention for this, please, because it's a very important topic. Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about toxin. It's a big brother or big sister of COSI. And it's called total correlation. Over there was only correlation stochastic. Somebody thought, what is the use of it? It's just scalarly coupled. Scalar coupling? One, two, scalarly coupled, geminal, Westonal couplings, and that's it. We don't really know what is happening. And then it's like, there is a chain of 5 protons. In COSI, I see coupling of him and him. That's it. Okay. And also then another between him and him. That's it. But I really want to see and develop a 2-dimensional NMR technique in which during the Q1 time, I would like to see all the protons of a spin system, the spin system. I really want you to understand what spin system is, but then let me just first complete my sentence. Spin system talking to each other. So I'd like to see couplings of all protons in a spin system. So if there is a methyl benzene, I would like to see all 5 protons of benzene talking to each other and have off diagonal. And similarly, so this is a beautiful experiment which was designed, and it was designed in a way that you can actually decipher the pieces of a complex spin system and then combine them together by another technique called HBC. We'll discuss that later. But TOXI is total correlation spectroscopy. TOXI. Total means total, right? Correlation means talking to each other, correlated, coupled, cross coupling. Spectroscopy, of course. And it's also called ho-ha-ha. And is your choice whether you would like to call it TOXI, which seems to be a more decent word, then call it ho-ha-ha. And this is actually, this TOXI was developed in Switzerland, and at the same time, it's a slight variation in USA. So you can see the seriousness and intellect of American scientists. They opted for this. The name suggests, okay, no controversial, no politics, nothing. This ho-ha-ha is homonuclear Hartmann-Hahn spectroscopy. Homonuclear Hartmann-Hahn, 2 scientists, Mr. Hahn, Dr. Hahn, Professor Hahn, Dr. Hartmann, working together, developed this, wanted to have their legacy, put their name in, and it's called homonuclear Hartmann-Hahn spectroscopy, and is homonuclear total correlation between the protons of this spin system. Okay. Honey, which name you like?
My name is
Huh?
my name.
Oh, is your name? No, I don't think it. It's not Japanese, it's O, homonuclear, Ha, Hartman, Ha, Han, spectroscopy, right? And sorry, it's also, so I'm sure that was Han. So if they actually removed K, otherwise actually Han, right? Homonuclear Han, whatever. During this first sequence, now talk to you what happened is that all the protons of a spin system are locked, spin locked, and they are allowed to talk to each other. As a result, diagonal off diagonal peaks appear. Remember, diagonal peaks are peaks on this. Off diagonal or double F. You know, this is an English word which you use off the road, away from the road, off the record, shabash. And I don't know what else, but it means that away from diagonal, and that represent. You okay? Huh?
Point.
Off point. What else? Off samosa, off nashta, breakfast, off dinner, etc. This morning I got a very, very SOS message from my staff in Comsec. I have staff from several countries, Gabon, Togo, Benin, Gambia, Mauritania, Senegal, Somalia, etc., Sudan, this kind also. There is someone from Bangladesh also. He said me that he want to go back to his country. I'm just trying to make everybody happy. It's just like my children. And finally he said, no, I don't want to tell you. I said, what, tell me? And he said, you know, they don't serve rice in the food. Off rice. Okay, so there was no rice. We decided to go. So this morning I changed the menu. Sometimes I have to do it outside. I have no right of changing menu at my home, but I can do it at outside. So I said, rice must be there. And then there is a participant who came from Benin. Then she was carrying a big bag, and eventually part of that went to Samoa. And you know what was there inside? Cassava. Wow. You know this. Who know cassava? You use it? Yeah, because in Nigeria I saw blocks of cassava. One block like 5 kg for the whole family. Is a root, and it's just like yeah, like big potatoes, but you know, it has a very different taste. Like it all. Anyway, I don't know why I'm just getting into it. Anyways, so total correlations with spectroscopy of diagonal peak in this case represent all the interaction in a spin system. And during the first sequence of during the evolution time T1, magnetization spilled off for a series of 180 pulses. During this mixing time, magnetization exchanged through scalar coupling, and this is called spin-lock period. Magnetization behaves as a strongly coupled spin system under the influence of a collective spin. That collective mode coherence transfer is possible with whatever. Anyway, so let me. This is Cozy versus Toxic. This is Cozy. Okay, so 7, 6, 5. 7 is connected with 6, cross peak, 6 is 7, 6 and 5, 5 and 4, 1 and 2. How many spin systems is there? A spin system let me tell you, the spin system is an unbroken chain of protons, of protons, without any breaking. They are part of it. So how many spin systems in it? Two, which one? Good. So in COSY, you see these cross peaks representing the couplings, right? 6, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 2, 1. In proxy, you see this big line, 4 contours. It means all 4 protons, 1, 2, 3, 4. They are all one spin system, all are visible. In one spectrum, you have got all protons of this spin system. इस spin system के सारे protons जो है वो cross peak के तौर पे pair हुए हैं. Okay, so God, it's such a beautiful technique. Think of it. And then इस spin system के दोनों proton यहाँ पे है. So you see that all 4 protons of this spin system are appearing as a 4 contours of diagonal peak, right? And I remember that miserable time which I used to spend to hydrolyze and break it. I used to break the molecule, get the NMR, and then combine them together, the NMR, and then get the expression. Now you have a technique which provides you separate NMR for every spin system. Separate NMR, as if that they exist separately. Give you another example. This is a big molecule. How many spin systems? Who would like to volunteer herself? Not himself. Herself. This is ester, CH, CH3, etc. This is CH2, this is CH. Spin system. Molecule. Yeah, good. We have to finish. That's it, isn't it? A 2 spin system. 1 spin system. This one, CH2 coupled to this, coupled to this, coupled to this, coupled to this. Okay, and then CO's ester, right? And then there is a spin system, CH3, CH with 2 CH3, 2 spin systems. Good, shabash. So 2 spin systems, finish. Before this technique was developed, the choice was you hydrolyze by acid or base hydrolysis. You get alcohol part separate, ester part separate, acid part separate. And you get the NMR, and then you think, Sahara? So you do Sahara also, how to connect it together. Well, anyway, so now this technique is available. Now this technique is available, and all the protons of this, all of them, appear separately. This proton, CH3, 2 CH3s, and CH appear separately. Okay. And I'll show you what. Another molecule. How many spin systems? A bit more complex. Someone volunteer himself to I आप बोला आपने volunteer किया शाबाश अच्छा
इसमें एक spin system ये नहीं this one.
oh good shabash
The second
one
one is
spin system
the second one is this one and the last one is this three. This is stage three. Yeah. ये stage three sir के NH.
NHI
NH दूसरे molecule का.
molecule नहीं spin system ये molecule this is one molecule there are several spin systems how many spin systems
Three spin system.
so two click कर दे नीचे this one these are two right how many now
Two.
okay so who agree with him no he said three he said four he said correctly but somebody has to have a bit more of a current yeah I'll if you give a correct answer, you would have honor of having coffee prepared by me and served to you.
Sir, this one. And this one mean to
Two,
there so multiplied by the main four.
four, okay.
4
4, 6.
and here 3. This is 1. So,
How many?
accident.
9.
4, 5, 6. And 5.
So 9 is spectrum. Okay. Okay, let's see some of these spectrum. Okay, yes. Help me please. Don't go. Okay. So this is the proton NMR of the whole molecule. If you try to have cozy, won't help you much because you know there's going to be so many cross peaks, you don't know which one is which one. You can convert that two-dimensional spectrum into one dimension. You know, every two-dimensional spectrum can be converted to two-dimensional. You just cross it, cut it, and get the spectrum. Okay, so this is, where is D, brother or son? Where is D in the spectrum?
This is nuclear right. Twice, right?
Separate NMR spectrum neatly, beautifully, cleanly, only D, right? And B and C.
What goes?
C is also there. And maybe A also. But you know, this is amazingly good. And how many spin system?
Sorry. One is don't. Heading. Oh.
Okay. Will you call this OCH3 as a spin system? No, a spin system. It was an isolated. Okay, maybe you can call it. I don't mind it. It doesn't hurt me. Now interpret the spectrum for me. Allahu Akbar. Okay, brother, let's start. Which one is the most downfield proton in this spectrum? Where is that?
Number 4.
This one.
This.
This one, right? Or this one? This is not anomeric.
It is.
So where is animalic?
Oh.
Oh, this one. This is water. This is right. Now interpret that for me.
Say this proton, their correlation between all this spin system.
Okay. Tell me how.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Where is 7?
Sorry, sorry, this here. I counted people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7.
You know, after 4,
1, 2,
there is a number which you call 5. Can you count it again? From next Saturday, we'll have a class on numericals. 1, 2, 3. We'll teach you how to. Okay, anyway.
1. Sorry, this is.
Sheikh, you are confusing everyone. You know, honestly, you're confusing everyone. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is a numeric proton. It
1.
will give total correlation with this space system.
So, yeah. How
1,
many peaks?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Why don't you count yourself? 1.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, you're right. This is coupled with this. In Cozy, you would see this coupling with it. That's it. Right? Finish. But in Doxy, you will see this coupling with this, with this, with this, with this, with this. Okay? How many peaks you see? This is diagonal. How many peaks you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see that? How many peaks you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 protons of this spin system are connected. So you know which proton is connected to the entire spin system. Is in front of you. Okay, now come to this. In this, which one is the most downhill proton? Okay, so come back to here. See, where is C1? Our C1 is lost. H1, sorry. H1, this one, H1. Sorry, they forget to write this one, but this is H1, right? This is H1. How many protons are connected to this H1? Got it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. You're right. 6. Now find me a 6 peaks.
1, 2.
No. You don't count the diagonal peak. Make a line.
Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But this is the most powerful proton. You're counting the other proton. Okay. Done.
This is
big.
big.
No, this was H1 prime. H1. H1. Where is the H1? This line. Okay. Go back again here.
This 1. There is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
One, 5, 6, 4, 3, 5, 2, 1. Are you satisfied with the teaching of Dr. Yahya? Okay. Yes, sir. But please explain to us.
That is diagram. So
Why? Yeah, diagonal. Okay.
Yeah.
Where is diagonal? Make a diagonal. So it's like a proton NMR. T1, 0, right? Everything is okay. Now,
we found those this line
okay, good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You are trying to increase the cross peaks over the speed.
Two numbers are 1, 16, sorry, 6.
So where is 6A?
My technique 5.
Why 6B was up? 6A.
One, I thought the 1 is 5.
I don't know.
This 6.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. So you see, two distinct systems. Now, I'll tell you what we do. We take that, cut it like this, invert it. Okay? Make a mountain again. Okay? Big mountains. And you get a spectrum like this. Isn't it beautiful? So this is the proton NMR of this disaccharide or whatever it is. This is the proton NMR of one spin system. This is the NMR of second spin system. We have done it without hydrolysis. Okay? This is called total correlation in a space system. And it's a beautiful technique. Now, if someone asks you, and if it is completely unknown compound, you don't know the structure, you can get the spin system, you work separately. On one spin system, you work separately with the other spin system and combine them together by HBC, which we will discuss later. Okay, so, and I'll tell you my own work. This is a molecule which long time ago, you can see I have isolated. So how many spin systems? Who will volunteer for this? Yeah, you confuse everyone. You want to confuse it again? Let's try Sudan. No. Nigeria. Cameroon. Egypt.
The one book or one which one have one?
Good. Three. Probably there are protons here and there also, but these are spin systems which are connected to each other. Okay, so this is the NMR of a full molecule. Full molecule. Proton NMR, right? And you can get, I'm sorry, I forgot to, I will just bring that slide also. You can get separate proton NMR spectrum of this and this. Separate proton. Okay, it's this one. Okay, this was, sorry, it's wrongly arranged. No, it was rightly arranged. I just. So this is the proton NMR of the entire molecule. Okay, This is the cozy of this entire molecule. This is one spin system. This is the other spin system. And then I cut it, I turn it, and I created spectrum. So this is the spectrum, proton NMR spectrum of only this spin system. I can get the spin system of this. I have a complete authority and capacity to separate the spin system and then work on it and then combine them together. Now, how would you do that? How would you make these protons of all the spin system, of one spin system, talk to each other? Okay, so proton, right? Proton, 5 protons, right? Diagonal, Western, cozy, just talk to them, you talk to them, talk to them. Now, I force you to talk to all of you together. I want to make sure that all of you talk to each other forcefully. I spin locked you, or I locked you in a room, right? And I would like you to talk to each other. So you create encoded or diagonal peak of information for all of you, not only the neighbor of yours. And that is done by a beautiful pulse sequence, one of my favorites. This one. Okay. And it's so simple. What is this? 90x. Okay. Why 90x? You need to bring everything on XY plane. Unless you make a transfer magnetization, it's not detectable. Okay. Then T1. What will happen in T1? What happened to this spin systems? It will diverge. Under the scalar coupling, they will split up at singlets. They will move forward away from each other. They will have a different movement on XY plane under the scalar coupling, under the scalar. We're talking about spin system. And then I give them a train of pulses, like 500 pulses of 180 Y. So this was 90x. After some time, 0 T1, no issue. All of them are just one place. T1 increase, they move away from each other. Right? At that time, I give a 180 Y pulse. Then give a Y 180 pulse, they will flip, the same. Okay? They combine together again. If they move away, I give 180 pulse again. And I keep doing it. I force them to talk to each other. I don't let them relax on YT2. I constantly force them to be together and talk to each other. I don't let them move away from each other. It's called spin locked. And this is the train of pulses. Train of pulses, or buses of pulses, or train is better. Train of pulses, which I give 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, Y, and keep doing it. When I give 180 pulse hundreds of times, they just go away, come together, go away, come together. At that point of time, they're forced to exchange information with each other within a spin system. Are you excited? Happy? You don't seem to be happy at all. These are some of the saddest smileys or whatever. Okay. So it's called spin lock pulses. It's called spin lock Y pulses. Why Y pulses? Because you want them to be together. Why? Because one is faster moving, the other is slower moving. In case of a doublet, when you give a 180 pulse switch, they come together again. They separate again, you force them together. It's like a older member of family who always try to bring everybody together and resolve all conflicts. You do that in Egypt. So it's like a 180. Now, don't even think of your Muslims in terms of 180
What's
Just go.
the data? Time or what? Data.
Delta is a small time, but this is a fixed time. So remember that nothing is changed. There's only two variable time. One is evolution, but this is a fixed time in which you are giving 180 pulses. 180 pulses. Tuck, 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 tuck. Okay. So you still log them. You start detecting, and when you detect it, you get diagonal peaks of all protons within a space. Okay, within a system.
What will happen for the other system?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. Now, this is the most beautiful question ever asked me in my life. Okay, this is a bit of an exaggeration, and okay, this is an excellent question. I was expecting someone would ask, and turns out to be. So it's just like you have many spin systems are like one rope, Rassi, with many knots. Okay, many knots. If you hook one knot, if you hold one loop, then you get all the knots of the same spin system. You select one chemical shift of any one in the spin system. Okay, and then you give 180 pulses. And then only you will see every partner in the spin system interact. Chef, you have a thing? You have.
Another question.
Okay, please.
Previously, we show us we have mixing derivative.
This is mixing. Thank you. Again, another very. I can't expect. No, I expected. You are today you are at the height of your intellect and a scholar of. There was a very famous Saudi politician. His name was Zaki Yemeni. You know? He was a fine person. Anyway, so he was like you. From Yemen. He was the foreign minister of. Your history is not so good. Your NMR is okay now. Okay, everyone. See each other next time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.